Hi, my name is Chris Raymakers, and I'm a teacher here at Singapore American School. And what I'm going to do is just put together a quick little video here on screencasting for Macs, specifically for a math classroom. I teach 7th grade math here, and I started doing some screencasting of different lessons for my students just this year. And Tim asked me to put this little video together for those of you who are Mac users. And so what I'm going to do is just talk a little bit about the hardware and the software that I use when doing screen recording. Now, for the record, I don't normally record myself when I do a screen capture, but in this case I'm just going to show you a couple things. So here I am. From the hardware point of view, what I do use is I'm just using my MacBook Pro, and I use one of my Wacom bamboo tablets. And this is just the most basic, simplest one they have. It's the smallest one. It has no touch features or anything like that. It's also the cheapest one, so it's pretty easy to come by. And you might want a larger one, but this one works well for my purposes. Here's this is the bamboo pen that comes with it. Feels and works pretty much like a normal pen, with the exception of this little button here. Sometimes this button causes me problems because when you push it, it's kind of like a right click with a mouse pad or with a mouse, and so that sometimes causes problems when I do my recording. But for the most part, it works great. As far as software is concerned, there's a couple of different types of software you can use. A couple that come to mind are Ink2Go, which is a pretty simple one, but it works pretty well. Camtasia for Mac, which is also really good. That's actually what I'm making this video on, even though it's not the one I typically use for my math classes. And then there's the Active Inspire software, and that's the one that's kind of my favorite for screencasting for math. And there's a couple reasons for it. I'm going to bring that up. Chances are, if you have a Promethean boards in your school, you probably have Active Inspire. It comes bundled with the Prometheans, and so I don't have a Promethean in my room, but we have a site license for it, so I use the software all the time. There's also a free version of Active Inspire, but it doesn't actually have the screencasting sort of software built into it, which is kind of a bit of a pain. Some of the reasons why I like to use Active Inspire are I have got a whole bunch of tools up here which I can make use of, and I've made use of pretty much all of these text tools. Here's some shape tools, so you can bring in shapes. I use that like if I want to model manipulatives. It's got a bunch of pre-built math tools, right? It's got a protractor, ruler, calculator. I actually make use of the calculator quite a bit. And then, of course, different colors for pens and for highlighters and all that sort of stuff. One of the coolest features for me for Active Inspire is the fact that it's also kind of like slides. So I can pre-build slides, and you can kind of see some of the examples of ones that I've done. These are like the finished products. And I kind of just do this to kind of keep a record of what I've done with my students. So if I'm going to build a video, what I usually do is I build a blank template ahead of time of what I'm planning on doing with that video. And so in this particular case, it's just a quick little, I'm walking my students through how to convert wholesale prices to retail prices if they have a certain markup percentage. So if I'm wanting to make this video, what I'll do is the first thing I'll do is I'll kind of, like I said, I'll type in what I want, and I'll get any math tools I want ready to go. So in this case, I'm going to use a calculator. So I'm just going to get that set. And the white space in the middle here is actually my what's going to be my canvas for the screen capture that I make for my students. So I'm going to drag my calculator off of that just for the moment. And I do that often. If I have manipulatives or something, I drag them to this blue space around the outside. Now I'm going to set my recording area, and so under More Tools there's a screen recorder. If you have the free version, it's blacked out or grayed out for you. And I'm going to do Area Screen Recorder. So I'm just going to start in one corner and drag down to the other, and I'm going to launch my recorder. There's my control panel for my recording up here at the top. It's in the blue zone, so it doesn't get recorded in my video. Pretty simple. I've got a red button for recording. I've got a pause button so I can pause if I need to recollect my thoughts during my recording, and I've got a stop button here when I'm done. I can also preview the video that I've recorded using the button on the end, but to be honest, I never do that. So I'm ready to record, so I hit record, and it asks me to type in my movie, so I'm just going to call this my screencast for Macs and I'll save that. And so now that flashing red and blue means that I'm actually recording my video. So let's actually get this going. So in this particular case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to convert wholesale prices into retail prices. So in this example, we have a wholesale price of $30 with a markup percentage of, let's say, 70%, and we're going to find the retail price. So I'm going to show you how to use an equation to do this, and the equation that we're going to use is retail price equals wholesale price times my markup percent plus the wholesale price. Now I'll give more details to my students, but for this purpose we'll just go pretty quickly here. So my wholesale price is $30 times 0.7 because I have to convert my markup to a decimal plus the original wholesale price. I could use parentheses here if I want, but I'm not going to. So now I'm going to bring in my calculator, and in this case here it's 30 times 0.7 plus 30 equals 51. And I like to use the calculator so my students can kind of see, if they're allowed to use calculators, how to work that out. And so I'm going to write that in. My retail price is $51. I probably should have used a dollar sign there. And now I'm done. So when I'm done recording, I'll just hit stop. And the great thing is, if you're lucky enough to do this in one take without making any mistakes and you're happy with what you've done, and like I said, you can kind of watch that back, then this saves as a .mov, which you can upload to YouTube just as is, or anywhere else if you want to embed it in like a Google site or something. Now, I happen to be a perfectionist, so I usually don't stop here. What I usually do then is I bring this into some sort of movie editing software such as iMovie or Camtasia. I usually use Camtasia, but I can't show you that because I'm using Camtasia to record and I can't edit and record at the same time. But let's just do that next step here. So if I'm done, I'll close this off. And so down here we can see that I have, let's see if I can, it's in my movies, so I should go find it there. This was my screencast for Macs, there it is. I'll open that up. So I can kind of see the movie right there, and I can also, from here, even right here, I can share it directly to iTunes or YouTube or MobileMe. So like I said, there's a lot of ways once you've got your movie made to be able to share that out to wherever it is that you want to share it. Like anything else, some of you might be looking at this going, well, I don't have Active Inspire, or I don't have Camtasia, and I don't want to worry about purchasing those. You can use whatever software you want. This is just the one that I've used. A number of my colleagues use Screencasting, which is web-based. This is just the workflow that I've kind of stumbled upon that works best for me. Like anything else, though, if you're learning some new software, it takes time. It probably took me about an hour to put a 10-minute video together when I first started, but I'm probably at a point now where I'm cranking them out at a 10-minute video for 15 minutes from start to finish. So like anything else, if you stick with it, you'll get better at it. So hopefully this helps at least give you some ideas about how to use the Wacom pad as well as Active Inspire to do some screencasting in your math class.